have the Seattle Seahawks addressed their biggest flaw? We will discuss what's going on with the Seahawks offensive line after an impressive showing against the San Francisco 49ers. Coming up on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in today's show, though, got a challenge for the 12s that I want to put out there today. Can we set the record for the most subscribers gained on a single video for the month of November? Our record so far is 83. I would love to get 100-plus subs off today's show and welcome more members into the Seahawks Today family for daily news and rumors, live shows every Wednesday, watch parties every game day, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more. It's all in one place right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free, and we'll get started with today's show. Has the Seahawks offensive line turned a corner after an impressive showing from Abraham Lucas and Olu Oluwatimi this past week in the Seahawks win against the San Francisco 49ers? Will we see this offensive line continue to build from here? Have they reached a turning point from the game that we saw from San Francisco? Are they going to get better from here on out? That's the question that's on a lot of Seahawk fans' minds, as both players had an impressive showing with Olu at the center spot and Abraham Lucas at the right tackle position. And Geno Smith, he was giving credit to his offensive line for how they performed as a whole. And we're going to let you hear from Geno coming up later. One of the things he pointed to was he said that this offensive line, this group, they were the unsung heroes for Sunday's victory against San Francisco. And when you point to these two, they're a big reason why. Let's start with Abraham Lucas in his grades. According to Pro Football Focus, just really solid across the board as he was involved in 42 snaps, had an overall offensive grade of 76.8, a run block grade of 79.0, and a pass block grade of 73.4. You will take that every single time. He did an awesome job in his first game back. Then let's talk Olu. Olu getting the start after the surprise retirement for Connor Williams, and he impressed as well. His grades offensively and run block-wise both better than Abraham Lucas with an 80.8 overall grade, an 86.8 run block grade, and a 61.8 pass block grade. And my reaction when I just see those numbers, besides just what we saw from the eye test told you that these guys did a good job. But then even taking it a step further, looking at the nerd numbers from Pro Football Focus, they just make you say, wow, sham wow. It'll make you say wow every time when you see those type of numbers that these guys were able to put up there. And let's dive into what Geno had to say specifically on Olu. He said this on Olu, how much he's battled, right? He's battled all throughout camp, didn't get the start, and it was asked to step in, and I think that led him to stepping right in and playing a tremendous game. So a bit of motivation there for Olu as far as that goes. And some more nerd numbers for you, this time from ESPN Stats and Information. Olu had a perfect qualifying pass block win rate against San Francisco, 27-0, although the pass block number, according to PFF, was a 61.8. That doesn't tell the full story that he did his job. He did exactly what he needed to do when it came to pass blocking throughout the afternoon against San Francisco. And then as far as Abraham Lucas goes, Geno, heaping praises on Abe, said this: for Lucas, knowing how much he battled back from injury, he's my locker mate, and talking to him every single day about how he's feeling, where his mindset's at, he was locked in the entire time. I know when he steps on the field, he's a difference maker. He means a lot to this team. He means a lot to me as my right tackle. I was really happy to have him out there today. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything is fixed just yet, but clearly Sunday's performance was a step in the right direction for the Seattle Seahawks and this offensive line. It was arguably the best the O-line has looked all season. Now, you do take it with a grain of salt that they really stepped up when Nick Bosa went down. But even with that said, the overall body of work, the difference these two did, in addition to having Charles Cross and those other guys there, I think that Seahawk fans have to be relieved, have to be excited about what this group has done and where they can build upon this going forward from here. Our pinned comment today, let's ask you now, is the Seahawks offensive line fixed? Is everything A-okay right now? What do you think? Type Y for yes, in for no. Way in the comment section, our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Public Rec. I'm wearing one of their fantastic shirts right now. It looks good. It's extremely comfortable, folks. You got to get yours as well. Let's be real, guys. Wearing pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but look like tailored pants. Yep, super stretchy with an elastic waistband so you can rock them anywhere. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. The holidays just around the corner, and you better believe, whether it's a dirty Santa gift or something for my dad or uncle, whoever it may be, I'm going to set them up with Public Rec because I believe it, I trust it, and I know they're going to love it too, folks. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality, everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies. Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season for a limited time only. Our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT20 at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT20 at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. There you go. Appreciate Public Rec for being on board here on today's show. You look at the depth chart for Seattle, and we've seen some changes for this group over the last several days. And now you go forward from here, and you have to feel optimistic that you may have found what you've been searching for all season. And you think about this. It wasn't perfect. There's obviously some work to be done. You did allow 4 sacks against San Francisco this past week. But even with that said, I think that this team is got to be excited that, hey, we played well, but there's still some things to do. It's far from a job finish. The run game was also improved, but it wasn't perfect yet. And when I look at this with Abraham Lucas, let's start with him for a moment, then we'll go back to Olu here in a second. The Seahawks had a plan for Lucas's return. And this was a plan that they put in place a long time ago, that they were going to be very patient with this knee. And the talk was, okay, is he going to be back in time for training camp? Is he going to be back for when the season begins? And ultimately, that did not happen. And now here we are. And we waited a long time, but it was worth the wait to get Abraham Lucas back at full strength. And the way that he's talked about the way his knee's holding up at this point, he doesn't believe that he's in danger of any setbacks, that he's fully ready to go. And this is a gradual process. He played about 70% of the offensive snaps this past week for Seattle as they let Mike Gerald come in a little bit just to give Abe some plays off and give him some rest. But I would think in the coming weeks ahead, that number's only going to go up for Abraham Lucas. That's going to be a gradual increase to try to get him to as close to 100% of the snaps as possible. Expect that number to go up here in the coming weeks as Abe continues to adjust and get back in the swing of things. And this is what Abe said on his first game back. I'm not at risk of getting injured again. It's just something I have to continue to recover and rehab from. I don't think a lot of people realize a lot of muscle injuries or tendon injuries, whatever it may be, they take a lot of time to heal. And based on what Abe's saying there, too, it's interesting. We heard the Seahawks coaching staff talk about in the past, in the Pete Carroll era, they felt it was a chronic issue. Based on what Abe's saying, he's making it seem like it's not a chronic issue, that he's not in danger of this getting hurt again. And you think about this, going back to Sunday's game, taking it a step further. He allowed just 2 pressures on 28 pass sets. That's it. For his first game back, that was a pretty decent ratio. There was a sack allowed early in that first quarter, but Zach Charbonnet kind of got in the way and didn't really help things with Abraham Lucas when that sack was given up. But nonetheless, a step in the right direction. Brock Hewitt of Seattle Sports said this. When Abe was in, man, he was just a steadying force. I went back and watched and was like, look at him move people. Look at him stand his ground. Poor Stone Forsythe just blown backward consistently. Gerald beaten consistently. Abe was not. It wasn't the perfect day, but realistically for Abraham Lucas, of his first game back and trying to get into the swing of things, and with the performance he put together, I thought Sunday went as well as it could have realistically. And now you hope to build that thing from there. We'll talk more about Olu in just a minute, but I want to ask you, how would you grade the debut of Abraham Lucas? A, B, C, D, or F? Way in the comment section. Let us know what your grade is. I'm going with an A. I was very impressed, and hopefully it's a sign of things to come as that right tackle position has been such a mess. Hopefully it's solved now going forward. Meanwhile, with Olu, he answered the call. Look, this Seahawks team was in flux with the Connor Williams surprise retirement, and Olu stepping in last minute, finding out that he's going to start. And what's the mentality? Next man up. I mean, he was ready to go. And it makes you think, too, why did they even bring in Connor Williams if Olu was capable of playing like this? Brock Hewitt, former Seahawks quarterback, college football and Fox analyst with Seattle Sports, said this. I thought he played super solid just like he did in his start last year. You don't see him getting overwhelmed and blown up. Olu is sturdy. He's not the most dynamic guy, but he's sturdy. He's steady. It sure seems like he calmed things and facilitated from the center spot. And people are going to point to that high snap that occurred, but Geno said that it was his fault, that it was a good snap, that he just missed it, that it wasn't Olu's fault. And that's one thing people are going to point to, like, hey, that was an issue with Connor Williams, was he struggled snapping the football. And Geno says it wasn't even Olu's fault that happened. In fact, Olu was the highest graded run blocker, according to Pro Football Focus, of any Seahawks player on Sunday. And we've talked a lot about this Seahawks team and their need to run the football. That goes a long way. And then on the pass sets, it wasn't just the run blocking, but the pass sets, he only allowed one pressure on 39 pass sets. So that's a very good ratio for what Olu did. What we saw out of Olu on Sunday, I think, was arguably better than anything we saw from Connor Williams in any of his starts previously this season. Not only did you upgrade the right tackle spot tremendously with Abraham Lucas, but it seems like after 1 week, granted just 1 week, you've done the same thing with the center position as well, turning to Olu. Mike Macdonald giving credit to his offensive line with Olu and company, said we gave the game ball to the whole offensive line. Olu went into Wednesday not knowing he's starting. That says a lot about him and his preparation. He deserves a lot of credit. And to kind of wrap this all up, to put a bow on this for you folks, I'll put it this way. This Seahawks team, going into Sunday, was on a 2-game losing streak, coming off a bye. They lost 6 straight games to the San Francisco 49ers. And one of the things I kept telling y'all was, hey, this team may be down, but they're not out. This division race is wide open. The wild card race is wide open. And the biggest thing this Seahawks team needed to do to get better was improve the offensive line. And now, with what we've seen from Olu at the center spot and Abraham Lucas at the right tackle position, those immediate upgrades with Charles Cross playing at a Pro Bowl level too, this could be the difference that saves this Seahawks team's season. This could be what gets them over the hump in the second half. And I've been telling you for a while that I believe this team's best football is in front of them. And if Olu and Abe can keep that up, then they're going to prove me right, and this team's got a great shot to make the postseason if they can continue to build upon what they did this past week. Are you all in on Olu? I'm all in. I loved what I saw. What do you guys think? Type AI, not that AI, for all in. Type H for hater. If you're not all in on Olu, you're a hater. Simple as that. Get in the comment section and let us know. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today for the latest happenings to your favorite team all season long. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.